So, what's the one thing? You ever wonder that? The one single thing that separates the people who make it from everyone else who doesn't. Well, today we're going to dig into this really powerful idea from Iman Ghazi that I think gets right to the heart of it. It's all about a season of life that, honestly, most people just can't get through. Man, I think we've all felt this, right? You're putting in the hours, you're grinding away, you're making all these sacrifices, and it feels like you're just shouting into an empty room. There's no applause, no recognition, nothing. Just you and the work. It's a lonely, super frustrating place to be. But it turns out it's also the most important one. And boom, there it is. That's the whole thing. The reason most people fail isn't about talent, it's not about smarts, it's not even about how hard they work. It all comes down to endurance. Can you handle the psychological pressure of being invisible? Can you keep showing up when nobody is clapping? That right there, that's the great filter. So let's try and flip the script on this feeling. What you're going through, it's not a sign that you're failing. It's not a sign you're on the wrong path. Think of it more like a test. It's like the universe is leaning in and asking, so, how bad do you really want this? Do you need a crowd to perform? Or is the work itself actually enough for you? Now this is a critical mind shift. You're not an aspiring artist. You're not a future entrepreneur. You're not a wannabe anything. No, you are that thing right now. The work you're doing in private isn't just practice. It is the real thing. The world's recognition, that's just a lagging indicator. They're just late to the party. And this gives us such a perfect metaphor to think about. See, you're not actually invisible. You're just underground. Your growth is happening where nobody can see it. You're not stuck. You are building something massive, something foundational, deep, deep beneath the surface. And that right there, that's the purpose of this whole invisible season. Those roots, your skills, your discipline, your resilience, that's the stuff that's going to hold you steady when the storms eventually show up. And trust me, the storms of success, of criticism, of pressure, they will show up. Without this deep, unseen work, any success you find will just be shallow and get knocked over by the first gust of wind. Okay, so if surviving the invisible season is the challenge, then what's the solution? How do we get through it? Well, it's not about changing what you do. It's about changing how you see the person in the mirror who's doing it. It all starts with that hero in the mirror. Look, the outside world might see your current situation, the small beginnings, the struggles, the uncertainty, and they might see a kitten. But their perception is totally irrelevant. It doesn't matter. What matters, the only thing that matters, is what you see in your own reflection. You have to be the one who looks in the mirror and sees a lion long before you have a roar that anyone else can hear. Because that image, that becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So here's the bottom line. You cannot afford to wait for external validation. You just can't. You have to crown yourself. You have to decide right now, in the middle of the struggle, that you are the hero of your own story. And listen, this isn't about arrogance. It's the required amount of self-belief you need to fuel the journey. I mean, think about it. When you really listen to people at the very top of their fields, there's this calm certainty about them. They're grateful, for sure, but they're not shocked. And that's because they've been living with the vision of their success for years. They knew it was inevitable because they were putting in the work. It was like they were just waiting for a package they knew had already been shipped. All right, so we get it. We need to see ourselves as the hero. But how? How do you actually build that kind of belief when there's literally zero external proof? Well, the answer is surprisingly simple. It all comes down to something called private victories. So what's a private victory? It's any win, big or small, that you achieve all by yourself. It's finishing that chapter. It's solving that tough problem. It's sticking to your workout when you wanted to quit. It's all those tiny little internal battles that nobody else on earth sees, but you know you won. And those wins are the building blocks of real, unshakable confidence. So here's the game plan. Step 1, do the work. The hours you put in to sharpen your skills, they're completely non-negotiable. Step 2, show up. Discipline is everything, especially on those days when you have zero motivation. And step 3, and this is the most important one, do it for an audience of one, you. Your standard of excellence has to come from inside, not from chasing likes or praise. And this just puts everything into perspective. You know that overnight success you see online? That person is the result of 1,000 unseen nights of grinding. That single moment of public glory is sitting on top of a massive mountain of private victories. Never, ever forget that ratio. It is overwhelmingly tilted towards the work that nobody ever sees. So, okay, let's fast forward. You've done it. You survived the invisible season. You've stacked up all those private victories. Your roots are deep and strong. And now, the world finally starts to notice. So what happens next? Well, it's probably not what you think. Success is a really weird, double-edged sword. To the people you help and inspire, yeah, you're going to be a hero. Absolutely. But to others, your success is just going to be a mirror that shows them their own inaction. And for that, they're going to make you the villain. You have to be prepared to be both at the same time. And oh yeah, get ready for the labels. People will do some serious mental gymnastics to avoid facing the reality of your hard work. They will try to shrink your thousands of hours of effort by calling you lucky or gifted or an overnight success. They're not even really doing it to hurt you. They're doing it to protect their own egos. But here's the beautiful part. Because you went through that invisible season, because you remember every single private victory that got you to this point, their words just won't land. They won't touch you. You'll just have this quiet, internal confidence knowing the real story. And you'll just be able to sit back and smirk a little bit because you know you didn't come out of nowhere. All right, let's bring this all home. This entire journey we've been talking about, from being invisible to crowning yourself the hero to finally being seen by the public, it's a process of transformation. It's all about becoming undeniable. You know, the biggest temptation you're going to face is the shortcut. That desire to just skip the root building season and get right to the good stuff. You have to resist that with everything you have. Instead, you have to embrace the long, hard process of getting so good that they simply can't ignore you anymore. And that's the full story, isn't it? That's the arc. You put in the work when no one was watching. You built your own belief system from the inside out. You grew your foundation so deep and so strong that your success wasn't a matter of if, but when. You did it until you became undeniable. So, in the end, it all comes down to this. The outcome, it's not really in question if you're willing to do the work. The only real variable here is you. This whole journey starts with one single private victory, the victory of belief. So the question I want to leave you with is a simple one. Are you going to be the first person to believe in your own story?